The Chicago Bears play their third NFC North game in a row this Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions on the road, which the Lions on a 9-game winning streak are the favorite at the moment to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this upcoming year. The Bears, though, they're knocking on the door. They have lost 2 nail-biters in back-to-back games against NFC North opponents in the Packers and the Vikings, thanks to the success of Thomas Brown. But who knows? Maybe the third time is a charm, especially against a bad Detroit defensive secondary. Why not shock the world on Thanksgiving? And if they don't, it is very likely, according to reports, that Matt Eberflus could be coaching his last game and be the first head coach fired in the middle of the season for the Bears. I'm here to break it all down, but hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I begin today's show, hit that like button to wish everyone else watching a very happy Thanksgiving, along with commenting happy Thanksgiving in your score prediction for this game. And if you get the score prediction correct, I will choose one person who gets the prediction correct to win a Chicago Bears jersey. Also, please subscribe to the channel because if you haven't already, we're also giving away a jersey at the end of the week to one lucky subscriber. All you need to do, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment Happy Thanksgiving in your score prediction. So let's go into the team comparison. Obviously, an alpha head coach in Dan Campbell, who's done a fantastic job turning around this Detroit Lions team and making them a contender for the last 2 years, going against Matt Eberflus, who could be coaching potentially his last game as a Chicago Bears head coach and could be the first one ever fired in the middle of the season. Here's why, and this is from different sources. Well, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but still, there's a chance of hope that Flus does get fired after this loss, and here's why it could happen. He's lost 6 games in a row. He has a 14-31 record. He has blown 5 games with a 90% win percentage during his 2.5 years as the Bears head coach, 3 of them coming in the last 6 weeks. He's lost the locker room. Defensive collapse last week against Minnesota. The Hail Mary loss showing no accountability as a head coach. The embarrassment against the New England Patriots. 3 different offensive coordinators in the last 2.5 years, and he's never made the playoffs and will be probably eliminated from the playoffs with a loss to the Lions. Can you guys see what I'm going through here? Clearly, Dan Campbell is the type of coach that the Chicago Bears need, and Matt Eberflus needs to get canned. And also, if Matt Eberflus gets canned, there's a 10-day gap in between games. It gives time for the team to regroup and get things going. I was talking about how George McCaskey was talking about that there's a possibility. That's that one. The Bears would also most likely promote Thomas Brown to head coach as a tryout to see if he could be the head coach for the Chicago Bears next year, as he's already potentially one of the favorites with 394.5 yards per game of offense since taking over offensive coordinator, and this team is behind him. Why not? You have an opportunity to do so. It's a great chance for the Bears to find their potential next head coach. Already in-house, knows this team, don't have to trade anybody, and likes what he has going forward. But let's go into this team comparison. Bears 4-7, Lions 10-1, Lions on a 9-game winning streak, Bears on a 5-game losing streak. Don't really have to go to it there. Lions have the second best offense in the NFL with 394.3 average, which the Bears have been averaging more than that over the last 2 games with Thomas Brown. Their defense ranked 13th at the moment with 322.1 yards per game. Not too great, but not bad either. The Bears offense, though, now ranked 28th under Thomas Brown. Going to break that all down in a bit. But the Lions clearly have the edge in this one. They are the favorite, but we're going to break it down a little bit more for you guys. So Chicago's offense versus the Detroit defense. Caleb Williams walks into this game with the 18th most passing yards in the NFL with 2,356, breaking the single season record by a rookie for the Chicago Bears. Not only that, Caleb had his career game against the Minnesota Vikings last week, 32 for 47, which is 68.1 completion percentage, 340 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, along with 103 passer rating and 33 rushing yards. This Bears offense is behind Williams at the moment, clearly clicking very well with Thomas Brown, and that's what's going to help this team move forward and continue to win ball games. Not only that, DeAndre Swift coming in at 17th with 665 rushing yards, a 4.0 yard per carry average. Swift, who is tied for 5th most rushing touchdowns in the NFL at the moment. Rashawn Johnson is 4th with 6 goal line touchdowns this year. Very impressive. This rushing offense is doing a great job, and they did a great job against the Minnesota Vikings last week. Almost 400 yards against a top defense, 320 passing, 78 total rushing with 27 total points, 20 first downs, almost half on 3rd down conversion, over half on 4th down, and own the time of possession, keeping the defense off the field and giving them the opportunity in order to go out and win this game and rest the defense. Moore, Allen, Rome, and Cole Kmet all had big games. Rome Odunze had a huge couple of catches. Keenan Allen almost with 100 yards. DJ Moore with over 100 yards, his second 100-yard game of the year. And Cole Kmet with 7 catches. This offense got things going against a bad Minnesota secondary and why they could do a good job against Detroit. And if you look at how the offense versus defense compares, Chicago 26 in total yards now. They were 30th 2 weeks ago before Thomas Brown. 29th in passing, 22nd in rushing, and 22nd in points. All moving up week over week. The Detroit defense, 12th in total yards, but 25th in total passing allowed. That's going to be one of my keys to the game, so stay tuned for that. But rushing, they are ranked 5th. In points allowed, they're tough to go against. They're ranked 2nd. But this Chicago offense does have a chance. They've proven they can play against tough defenses, and Thomas Brown is leading the way for them. On top of that, too, let's go over to the Chicago Bears defensive side of the ball, which is going to be pretty darn tough against a Detroit offense. It's led by Jared Goff, who's 8th currently in the league with 2,761 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 5 coming in a single game. So this guy is pretty darn legit with a 109 passing rating through 11 games and only sacked 21 times. Has a good offensive line, veteran quarterback, clearly getting it done, and he could do some damage against the Chicago Bears defense, along with what they have in wide receiver. Number 8 wide receiver in the league right now, Amon St. Brown, 747 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns, great stats. But also Jamison Williams, who's averaging 20.8 yards per reception and 4 touchdowns so far this year. He's a tough cookie to crack. But also our good friend David Montgomery, 2nd in the league with 11 rushing touchdowns and 18th with 632 rushing yards. Wish we never got rid of this guy. Happy with how Swift is doing, but this guy is ripping it up for the Detroit Lions. And the Bears defense are going to have their hands full. The Lions offense, 2nd in total yards, 6th in passing, 4th in rushing, and 1st in points. That is led by offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, a potential head coach for the Bears next year. Something to also look out for, as this could be a tryout in front of the McCaskies for Ben Johnson, who deserves a blank check. But the Bears defense has held their own, but they're starting to slip a little bit. They moved down 2 spots in total yards. Now they're 17th. Passing, they moved down a spot to 13th. Rushing, though, they moved up 2 spots to 20th. In points allowed, they moved down 1 spot from 7th to 8th week over week. But the Bears defense is still tough to take down, and they're going to have a big challenge. But last week against the Vikings, obviously one of the better offenses as well in the league. 452 yards allowed, 328 passing. And you guys can just see the stats right here. They did a decent job against them in regards to rushing, all things considered, but this Bears defense needs to get things back together. Jalen Johnson even said it himself, but things need to turn back in the direction for the Chicago Bears defense in order to take down this tough Minnesota offense. Now, before I get into the injury report for the Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Authentico. Enjoy Thanksgiving with one of the best 100% organic tequilas on the market, coming in 3 great flavors, made in Guadalajara, Mexico, with no additives and 100% USDA organic. Go to the link in the description now and get Authentico near you before you celebrate the holiday season. So let's go into that injury report for Bears versus Lions. Looking at it right now, the Bears only have 2 injuries at the moment. Ryan Bates with a concussion, wishing him a speedy recovery. As we all know, concussions are very serious. And Elijah Hitz with an ankle injury. But the Bears otherwise are 100% healthy and good to go against a tough Detroit team. Looking over at the Detroit Lions, Rob St. Brown did not practice on Monday or Tuesday, something to keep an eye out for, along with David Montgomery, who's having a shoulder injury. So those 2 could be playing injured against the Chicago Bears. Something to keep a very close eye on, because the Bears can take advantage of this. They can play tougher on these guys, and it could lead them to not being on the field as much, having to take more rest. Something to look out for Bears versus Lions. Lions also might sit them, even though they're going to want to play on Thanksgiving, because the Lions want them for the playoffs, obviously, and the Bears pretty much knocked out at the moment. Not over till the fat lady sings. Something to keep an eye on. Quickly, my 3 keys to the game. Do what you did last week for number 1 against the Minnesota Vikings with the pass. Detroit has a bad pass defense. It worked. It got things going. You spread the ball out to your top wide receivers, and that got things going. Number 2, do not play soft zone defense for the love of God, Matt Eberflus. Play man-to-man. That's why Justin Jefferson only had 2 receptions for 28 yards against the Bears, because Jalen Johnson did what he had to do, along with Kyler Gordon and Kevin Byard. And then number 3, keep Kyler Gordon back as a spy on David Montgomery or the entire rushing game as a whole for the Detroit Lions. They have a tough rush defense, but if you keep Kyler Gordon back there like he did against Aaron Jones in a very tough Minnesota rushing team, you will win this game from that perspective. So do that, and those are my 3 keys to the game. But bear down, guys. I'm excited for this holiday season, and you guys should be too, and I'm excited for Bears versus Lions on prime time. But guys, I know it's Blackout Wednesday today, as we all know. If you guys do celebrate, please do not drive. Uber everywhere that you go. It is not worth it to put yourself or anyone else at risk. Uber is not that expensive. It is definitely worth it. And if you guys just don't feel comfortable going, just have some people over or stay home. It is not worth it to get behind the wheel under the influence. That is what I want to say. I want everyone to be safe and enjoy this Bears versus Lions game together. I don't want to hear any bad things. So please, 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 Lyft, Uber, taxi, anything. Do not drive tomorrow night. But thank you for tuning into this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Rhodey. Get excited. Happy Thanksgiving. We will have the live stream for you guys. You guys are going to want to miss it. But thank you as always for tuning in, and bear down, baby.